Hey, it's Kyle Madson with your top stories on Sports 1140. Drew Brees is the new all-time passing leader. He passed Peyton Manning last night with 363 yards and a 43-19 win over Washington to wrap up Week 5 of the NFL season. The Dodgers beat the Braves 6-2 to move on to the NLCS, where they will face the Brewers. The Astros blew out the Indians 11-3. They completed a sweep in that American League Division Series to move on to the ALCS. Now they await the winner of the Red Sox-Yankees ALDS, where the Red Sox lead that 2-1 after a 16-1 blowout at Yankee Stadium last night. Red Sox utility man Brock Holt became the first player to ever hit for the cycle in the postseason in that one. And the Kings were back at it last night with a 132-100 win over Maccabi Haifa. Their next preseason matchup comes Thursday at home against the Utah Jazz. Those are your top stories. And now it's back to the drive with Carmichael Dave on Sports 1140 KHT.
Rise and shine, sleepyhead.
I'm not letting you go to work today.
Wait, what? Everybody, listen up.
Welcome to The Drive.
Morning. You're gonna talk.
Get on the phone at 339-1140.
Pretty awesome, huh?
Jump in on our text line at 441140.
Everyone is talking about it. You must know that.
The Drive starts now.
Matt Barrows will join us here in a couple minutes from The Athletic. We'll wrap up the 49ers week as it is. One note, the game they were going to play against the Rams. They still will. That was supposed to be Sunday Night Football. That has been flexed. It will now be a late afternoon kickoff.
You can read about that at NinersWire.com later after the show.
NinersWire.com. Is that a preview?
Yeah.
Wow.
I have it about halfway written right now.
Well, scooped you, bud. Got to hit publish earlier.
Dang.
Apparently, people think that fans would rather see the Bengals and Chiefs. You know, that's actually a really good move, because here's why. I actually respect this move, even though I'd love to see, the Niners on Sunday Night Football. Okay, you're right. No, I wouldn't. But good on the NFL for flexing out
a terrible game.
Well, even more, though, flexing out San Francisco and Los Angeles, two top 10 markets, for Cincinnati and Kansas City, two not top 10 markets, two decidedly not top 10 markets. Good on them. And I think they recognize that NFL fans, unless you have a dog in the fight, unless you're a Niner fan or a Ram fan, you don't care where they're playing. You don't care what market it is. You want to see good football. So, yeah. I'd much rather see that. As we wait on Matt Barrows here from the text line, just some wrap-up from our last segment. From the 801, maybe it's that annual early season optimism, Dave, but am I wrong in feeling like Fox and Giles give this team the most potential we've had in a long time? Not saying we'll win more right away, but those two guys really feel like franchise pieces to me. Listen, I don't think the Kings are going to have a good year. I think it's going to be a really, really, really bad year as far as wins go. Make no bones about that. But being fair, we just don't know. We could be, if you told me right now that the Kings have 3 future All-Stars on their team right now, I wouldn't be shocked. Now, I wouldn't bet money on it, but I wouldn't be shocked. We don't know what Bagley's going to be, but we know there's a lot of GMs that love him. We know that he's supposed to be a freshman in college this year. Giles was the guy coming out of high school, and we already know a little bit of what we've seen out of De'Aaron Fox. I was talking to Grant Napier over the weekend, and we both agreed if you took this team and only made roster moves based on replacing people that either were injured or retired, in other words, if you didn't trade anybody at all, you kept this roster as together as you possibly could, they will be a playoff team. Like, they'll be a playoff team. I don't know if that's in a year. I don't know if that's in 3. I don't know if that's in 5 years. But if you kept the roster as it is right now, again, replacing only for injury or retirement, I think they'd be a playoff team. I do. The biggest question with the Kings is time to me, not talent. Dave, would you rather the Kings have 28 wins this year or 8 wins, but they go 8-0 versus the Warriors and Lakers? Ooh. It's a good question. Let me think on that. Also, see a couple of you people wanting to give the thumbs up. I'll do it for you as well. What? Oh, I said you people, sorry.
Whoa.
By Kings fans. Shout out to the Kings organization for doing a good thing, both in Phoenix and last night, for running the simulcast with Gary Gerald and Jason Ross and KHDK. Along with the stream, really kind of making an extra effort to make sure that fans who weren't there could see the game. That's something a lot of teams don't do. The Kings did that, and I know I was, and a lot of people were sitting around the old television last night, plugged in. I had my laptop plugged in, watching the game. So seriously, props to them. Good stuff. From The Athletic, the guy you want to talk to, really, let's be honest, when it comes to the San Francisco 49ers, with about, a third of the season, almost a third of the season gone, the one, the only Matthew Barrows. Good morning, Matt. Oh, there we go.
Operative word there, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. It's we didn't have you turned up at first.
Oh, sorry.
I got operative word. That's all I got.
Yeah, it was a really great joke. I said "gone" being the operative word. You had used "gone" in your intro, so I picked up on that.
Impossible question for you, Matt, but I'm going to ask it because you
ask the hard questions.
He deals with those questions all the time. Have you looked at this team thus far without Jimmy Garoppolo, and has it answered any questions for you, like even if they had Jimmy Garoppolo, were expectations a little bit too high?
Well, yeah. I mean, this is a team that's at a level at this point that they can't afford to make any mistakes and expect to win games. And all they do is make mistakes. So I'm not sure if Jimmy Garoppolo is there. I suspect they probably win against the Arizona Cardinals, but I'm not sure that they would have won the game against the Chargers if he were there and C.J. Beathard wasn't in. Beathard played a good game. It was other errors in other parts of the team that cost him that game. But, people were thinking, 7-9, 8-8 team going into the season, and I feel like if they were healthy, if they had Garoppolo, if they had Goodwin, if they had some of these other guys, that's about where they'd be at this point, which is in keeping with sort of the grand plan where 2019, 2020 are the seasons where this team really expects to strike and to win games. Now, without Garoppolo, without all those others, 8-8 would be just a moonshot. It would be fantastic for this current squad. It's more like a 3-win team at this point. I mean, I was writing on Sunday after the game that I think this is arguably the worst team in the NFL right now. I'm not sure if that's the case when Goodwin comes back or, if some of these other guys come back from injuries. But it's a really make an argument. I mean, because, a winless Cardinals team came in to the 49ers' own building with a rookie quarterback, and they won by double digits.
Have you ever seen a team, and I know there are statistics that kind of back this up, but have you ever seen a team kind of so thoroughly dominate a game statistically and somehow kind of visually get so thoroughly dominated on the field?
Yeah, there was a real discrepancy there. I mean, I didn't feel during the game like, wow, the 49ers are just absolutely dominating this game. It didn't have that from the first drive to the last drive. They didn't do much, and it was discombobulated and coughing and sputtering, and so I mean that wasn't the feel that you got in watching that game. It was a difficult game to watch for basically 3/4 of it. And then there were 2 really good drives interspersed, and then a garbage time drive at the very end, and that accounts for the team's 3 touchdowns.
Matt Barrows of The Athletic joining us. Pro Football Focus put out a stat over the weekend that a lot of people have been sending me, a lot of Niner fans. It's coverage snaps per reception allowed. Patrick Peterson, 20.6. Tre'Davious White, 20.6. Aqib Talib, 20.8. Richard Sherman, 146.0. Why is that stat, or is it misleading?
Well, I'm not exactly sure what those numbers mean, but I mean, it's the choice that a quarterback has when he drops back and sees Richard Sherman on one side and either Greg Maben, Jimmy Ward, or Akello Witherspoon on the other. I mean, it's a no-brainer. So teams are going in the opposite direction of the future Hall of Famer. I think that's all that is. I mean, I think Richard Sherman's played well. I can't remember a play in which he was badly beaten. He should have given up one pass play, I think, on Sunday. There was a clear drop by the Cardinals, and there were several of those in the game by a bad Cardinals team. I can't stress that enough. But, yeah, I mean, that's the one bright spot. Certainly in that secondary has been Richard Sherman.
Well, and I think that was part of the argument going in is how much of that is about Richard Sherman, how much of that is about the rest of the Niners secondary, and why pick on Richard when you can pick on these guys, and do you think very shortly we're going to see Richard Sherman get truly tested?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, although why would you need to when it's so easy to go in the opposite direction? To me, the story that got buried by some other bigger storylines is that Richard Sherman was supposed to miss multiple games with that calf injury, and at 30 years old and everything that he's accomplished, and I know there's a lot of money built into his contract, but I really don't think that that's the prime motivation for him. It can't be. He really pushed himself to get back, and not only got back, but played well. That should be a good sign, a good signal for the rest of the team, especially a team that is injured a lot. There's one guy who's very serious about this season when he has all these other accomplishments and it's likely not going to affect his legacy and this and that. Richard Sherman pushed himself to get back for a game against the Cardinals in Week 5. I mean, that to me is a pretty big storyline, and is a nice thing. One of the few silver linings on this team right now.
We saw Ryan Dallaire get called up from the practice squad. He saw 10 snaps. Do you envision, as this season kind of goes on and they get further and further away from a mathematical playoff spot, do you think we see more moves like that where they get some of those kind of younger, maybe lesser-known guys in to kind of see what they have moving forward?
Yeah, I do. I mean, that's what they did at the end of last season. I expect that to happen. Probably more in the second half of the season, but the Dallaire thing is interesting. I mean, he was added to the practice squad after the season began, so he's a guy that didn't even go through the off-season or training camp with the team, and he got called up instead of Pita Taumoepenu, who's a draft pick by this team, who's been here for 2 seasons now, and he got inserted into the lineup and took snaps away from Ronald Blair, and it just goes to show you how bereft they are of any sort of edge rush. Right now it's Ronald Blair and it's Cassius Marsh as your top edge rushers, so why wouldn't the 49ers sort of experiment with other guys at those spots, and that's what they're doing. And so I can see them doing that with Taumoepenu later in the season. I can see them, giving, say, DJ Jones more reps at nose tackle instead of Earl Mitchell. I can see Kendrick Bourne getting more snaps at that flanker spot instead of Pierre Garçon later in the season. These are all guys that are veterans. They're in their 30s who could get moved out in the off season in favor of younger guys, and so it'd probably be smart to see those younger guys get some snaps right now.
Finding an edge rush has to be priority numbers 1 through 5 for them this offseason, right?
Absolutely. I mean, when Cassius Marsh and Ronald Blair are your edge rushers, I mean, that tells you don't need one edge rusher. You need multiple edge rushers, and apparently this is the off season to go shopping for them. The draft should be rich in them. I wonder whether Ezekiel Ansah, who was franchised by the Detroit Lions this last off season, what his status will be. To me, you need to bring in a veteran. You need to bring in at least one draft pick at that spot, maybe even 2. I mean, it's just become such an important spot in the NFL, and it's one where the 49ers are just completely missing any truly effective pieces right now.
Matt Barrows of The Athletic joining us. You can read all of his stuff at theathletic.com with comprehensive 49er coverage. One of the things you can read is Solomon Thomas having 36 defensive snaps with as few, I believe, 51 defensive snaps on Sunday available. He had that many snaps, and he had one less tackle than C.J. Beathard.
Hey, best tackler on the team, C.J. Beathard. I've been saying this for years.
So is it as simple as saying Solomon Thomas was invisible and had a poor game, or are there any, if you're his lawyer and he's being accused in court of having a bad game, is there any defense for him?
Well, no, not really. I mean, he played a lot of snaps. He's playing next to a guy in DeForest Buckner who's getting a lot of double teams. So that ostensibly should be opening up opportunities for the guys playing next to him, and it just hasn't so far. And, early in the season they were going with Eric Armstead, and it seems like Solomon Thomas is now the guy who's eaten a bit into Eric Armstead's snaps. They've sort of done a Freaky Friday thing. They've just kind of switched roles a bit, and neither guy is really jumping out, and they should be. I mean, these are both first-round picks who are playing opposite a guy who's getting a lot of attention, and those numbers just aren't coming to this point.
Matt Barrows of The Athletic joining us. By the way, one of the things I love at the bottom of Athletic articles, it's very clean. You can read all the comments. I will admit, Matt, and I'm very sorry for this, I'm admitting this publicly. So I don't usually rate the articles, but then obviously with guys like you and Sam, who I love on there, I want to rate. I don't know if it helps at all, but I want to rate them like the best. But I think I've kind of been screwing you because the first thing on the left is the bad one, and then the middle one is solid, and then the right one is good. And I think a couple times I hit the bad one because I just always assume it goes good, medium, bad. So I want to publicly apologize for that, and I'm liking all of yours now to make up for it. Okay?
Oh, I'm going to send the recording of this to my bosses because they asked me about that the other day. They said that a lot of frowny faces are coming from the Sacramento area. Can you explain this?
Matt, I'm serious. I think that's
it probably
a thing.
cost me a bonus. So thanks a lot, Dave.
I'm brutally honest on those.
Right.
Like, there's a lot of people at the Athletic I like. But if they write one where I'm just like, it's just all right.
Well, just don't rate it then. That's terrible.
No.
Well, I mean, it's hard to read a story about Jimmy Garoppolo tore his ACL and is going to be out for the season. You're going to give that a smiley face? Hey!
Nice!
Sorry!
Great work!
It's good coverage of the bad thing.
Exactly.
My suggestion is if we could please, for dummies like me, maybe think about switching the smiley face to the left.
Sure they'll put that just top of the priority
maybe just
list.
for my subscription.
I heard that the smiley face was given a lot of credence early on in the Athletics' existence, but in recent months, people are paying less attention to it. So I don't think it's quite as important. But I'm glad you told me that because that explains a lot.
Matt Barrows with us. Coach Shanahan, it's very easy to write off what's going on with him. Oh, it's a crappy year. It's a crappy job. I feel like he's actually doing a really good job with the ingredients he has, and I know you wrote a little bit about his schemes, and it's just at one point I remember a drive where it seemed like 80% of the talent on offense was out, and they were still able to hold on to the ball. They were still able to convert a little bit. What kind of grade thus far do you give Kyle?
I got to give him a high grade, and that Arizona game really kind of exemplifies it for me. I mean, look at what they didn't have. They didn't have McKinnon. They didn't have Breida. They didn't have Goodwin. They didn't have Pettis. I mean, Pettis was drafted as Goodwin insurance. I mean, well, okay, if we lose Marquise Goodwin, that's a big blow. But at least we have Dante Pettis. They didn't have either of those guys, and that's a very critical piece of that chessboard for Kyle Shanahan. And they were putting very ordinary, guys who were really slot receivers out there at that spot. And he was still able to really manufacture, obviously, a lot of yards. That was C.J. Beathard's only 300-yard game of his career. And it came on screens, basically. And it shows you two things. It shows you that this offensive line is much more spry, much more adept at running those things than last year's version was. And it shows you that, Shanahan is able to kind of scheme away a lot of these issues And he basically admitted yesterday in yesterday's press conference that he's not going to be able to do that for very much longer. That was sort of a unique situation where the Cardinals really liked to blitz, and they caught them unaware a couple of times, and that screens can be very lucky. You don't always know which way the blitz is coming from, and if you go in that direction and are able to complete the pass, you're hitting an area that's now empty or light on defenders, and they can go for big gains, and that happened to the 49ers. But that's not anything that this team can lean on the rest of the season. And, they need those pieces back, and they're crossing their fingers that Goodwin at least will be on hand for the Packers game, because they don't think that Pettis will be back by then.
Let's go to a world where this 49ers team is totally healthy, as we talk with Matt Barrows of The Athletic. Do you think a legitimate, bona fide number one receiver is a necessity in this offense?
Yeah, I do. I mean, Garcon is in his 30s, and who knows how many seasons he's got left. So that alone, you need to replace that flanker position. And, one of the things that defenses are doing, they're basically holding some of these smaller guys at the line of scrimmage. I mean, Trent Taylor was a big third down crutch for both quarterbacks last year. He's a little guy, and he's being manhandled a lot of times in some of these coverage sacks where you see Beathard or Garoppolo staring down a guy on third down and just not pulling the trigger. He's looking at Taylor at that point, and then that's happening to some of these other smaller-bodied guys. So the idea of the big receiver isn't just, it gives the 49ers a big target in the red zone. It's also somebody who can break away from some of this man-to-man coverage that the 49ers have been given. So bigger-bodied guy, stronger guy who can kind of defeat that bump coverage that defenses are more and more giving the 49ers is something that this team could need. And those guys it's like a pass rusher. I mean, those guys it's great to talk about it, but those types of receivers come available very, very few times. There's a couple of them in this draft, and that's going to be an interesting dance. What do the 49ers need more, a pass rusher or a big, dominant receiver?
Matt Barrows of The Athletic with us. Last thing, major injury report for, they have an extra day now, it looks like, but just an injury report on, obviously we heard about Breida. Anything else popping up?
Well, Breida is a sprain. It looks like he's going to be doubtful, although Breida said that he'd be able to play on Sunday. Of course, whenever you ask a player when he's coming back, add 2 weeks to what he tells you, because they're usually very optimistic about their own chances, except for Richard Sherman, who's the one guy who was overly optimistic, and it came true. Pettis isn't going to play. Goodwin is going to be questionable. All of those offensive linemen who gutted it out for the Cardinals game, if you can gut it out to play against the Cardinals, my theory is that you're going to gut it out to play against the Packers on Monday Night Football. So I expect that unit to be intact for the Monday night game in Green Bay.
That's Matthew Barrows of The Athletic. Please, when you're grading his articles, go to
right to left, like it's like Chinese or something like that.
Yeah, start on the right. That's where look for the smiley, not the frowny, and tell all your friends as well. TheAthletic.com, a wonderful, wonderful, I dare say, place, and well worth the little bit of pennies you give them each and every month for guys like Matt Barrows. Matty, thank you. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, talk to you guys next week. Thanks for having me on.
All right, thank you. Take care. That's Matt Barrows wrapping up the 49ers. Now, Raider fan, don't worry. We will have Scott Bair of NBC Sports California on tomorrow, same time, to break down the Raiders week in Los Angeles. Coming up next, a little bit of fallout. We'll update you on the Habib McGregor fallout and what the Nevada State Athletic Commission looks like they're leaning towards. Looks like problems for both guys. We also have some wrap-up as well with sound around the league. Want to see if we have time to get into Odell Beckham Jr. and his comments that were making waves and some other mishmash. We'll be back in a couple right here on Sports 1140 KHTK.
Food and music are about to collide with Downtown Showdown, featuring performances from 80s icon Sheila E., ex-ambassadors, and country star Chris Jensen. We're taking over Capitol Mall with free blocks of food trucks, interactive vendors, games, and great music. It's Downtown Showdown, Saturday, October 20th from 11 to 5 at Capitol Mall. Tickets are just $20. Get more information at khtk.com.
Want to talk to you about my buddy Jack Friedlander and everybody over at NorCal Lipo. The Vaser and Vaser high-def technology that can absolutely change your life. Now, what do I say to you almost every time we talk about this? If you're happy with your body, if you're happy with the way you look, this commercial's not for you. There's no body shaming here. There's no fat shaming. Everyone has their own standards. But if you're somebody who has been working hard and just can't get to where they want to be, or if you're somebody that's not working hard, does not diet, does not exercise, and you go, my gosh, I can't see my toesies. Well, Dr. Jack's a guy for you. It's not just big bellies. It's also whether it's your thighs, your chest, your arms. You probably have a six-pack. You just got fat covering it. Go see Dr. Jack and see what he can do for you in really just a couple hours. It's an outpatient procedure. It's easier than you think. It's cheaper than you think. Go to NorCalLipo.com and look at the pictures. Read the testimonials. These aren't people that are flying in. These aren't people that are made up. These are people that live in the area. He's right there in Roseville. And then make a free, no-obligation consultation appointment at 347-7755. That's 916-347-7755 at NorCalLipo.com. That's NorCalLipo.com. Get in there today. And you tell me, good buddy,
Carmichael Dave
sent you.
This is Boomer Esiason with the CBS Sports Minute, brought to you by the Ford F-150. It doesn't just raise the bar, it is the bar. Milwaukee is in the NLCS for the first time since 2011, and the Brewers will chase their first pennant since 1982. Their secret weapon, Eric Kratz. The journeyman catcher is playing in his 17th season, encompassing 30 minor league and 7 big league teams. He was with the 2013 Phillies and last year's Yankees, but both left him off the playoff rosters. He won a ring with the 2015 Royals, but never left the bench. So until Friday's Game 2 against Colorado, Kratz had never appeared in a postseason game. At 38 years and 112 days old, he became the oldest player to make his postseason debut since 1905. Kratz had 2 hits Friday and 3 more, including a double in yesterday's clincher. Good things come to those who wait. I'm Boomer Esiason.
It's Ford F-150 Radio. So Ford, the official truck of the NFL, is recognizing the Built Ford Tough Offensive Line of the Week. Marty, go.
Muirhawk in high school, the Purple Panthers, that was an offensive line.
Ford F-150 is saluting the best NFL O-line. And like those O-lines, the Ford F-150 doesn't just raise the bar, it is the bar.
I remember the big game. State semis.
Go to NFL.com and follow NFL analyst and former Pro Bowl center Sean O'Hara as he picks the Built Ford Tough Offensive Line of the Week.
I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans, America's premier home purchase lender. We've created a new way to protect you from unpredictable interest rates. Our exclusive Rate Shield approval. First, we lock your interest rate for up to 90 days. Then, if rates go up, your rate stays locked. But if rates go down, your rate drops. Either way, you win. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com.
Rate Shield approval only valid on certain 30-year fixed-rate loans. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030. Additional conditions or exclusions may apply.
Have you noticed a lot more men smiling around town? Universal Men's Clinic has treated thousands of patients. That's thousands of happy men who have a greater zest for life. If you don't have the energy, stamina, or strength like you used to, or having problems in the bedroom, you could be our next happy patient. Call us at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit universalmensclinic.com. A $199 office visit may get you smiling too.
I'm Charles Arakaki, a doctor at the Universal Men's Clinic and a happy patient. I was feeling old and I thought it was my demanding lifestyle. I started feeling loss of energy and stamina. Having treated thousands of patients with low energy and sex drive and seeing them improve, it hit me. My symptoms were similar to my patients. With the modern medicine at Universal Men's Clinic, I'm now enjoying a renewed quality of life.
Call us at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit universalmensclinic.com.
MadeAtCars.com has big savings on over 2,000 vehicles. Easy financing for everyone. Over 7,500 4-star reviews, all in one place. MadeAtCars.com. See why everyone is saying,
Made a great deal at Maida.
Sports 1140 KHTK's coverage of high school football is presented by Wingstop. Listen every Friday night to the Wingstop High School Football Wrap-Up Show and get all the coverage on KHTK.com.
Now your sports update. Sports update. Powered by Mercury Insurance.
This is Kyle Madson with your top stories on Sports 1140. The Saints beat Washington last night 43-19 to wrap up Week 5 of the NFL season. The Dodgers beat the Braves 6-2 to move on to the NLCS, while the Astros moved on to the ALCS with an 11-3 win over the Indians to complete a sweep. And the Red Sox beat the Yankees 16-1. They now lead that ALDS 2-1. Red Sox utility man Brock Holt hit for the cycle. He's the first player to ever do that in the postseason. And the Kings beat Maccabi Haifa 132-100 last night at the Golden One Center. That game was tied to 25 after one quarter before the Kings pulled away over the final three. Buddy Hield had a good night. He had 22 points. Justin Jackson added 18. And Kings now get a couple days off. Their next preseason matchup comes Thursday at home against the Utah Jazz. Those are your top stories. Now it's back to the drive with Carmichael Dave on Sports 1140 KHTK.
Here we go. The drive continues now.
Did you see Adam Schefter's tweet yesterday? Fact of the day. Drew Brees, he tagged both these guys, Drew Brees and Tim Hasselbeck, attended the NFL Scouting Combine in Indianapolis the same year. Nice to see one of those quarterbacks get the most out of his talents. It's from Adam Schefter. Which makes me think, is that because I looked to see if Schefter explained it and he didn't. Yeah, it's a friendly poke. Like he knows Tim? Or is there actually some real shade there? The only reason I even ask is because he didn't ever correct it. Yeah, or not correct it, but he didn't say, guys, get out of my mentions. Tim's an old friend. I'm joking.
I imagine Adam Schefter probably doesn't look at his mentions.
That's true.
Aren't him and Tim Hasselbeck on ESPN together? Or were?
That's why I think they.
I don't think he was actually trashing.
Because that's an eclipse.
That
was
not
just shade.
Yeah, no, I think that was a joke. Hey, we've got some UC Davis football tickets to give away. I'll do that right now.
Right now?
Yeah, right now.
339-1140, 1-800-920-1140.
Yeah, get some tickets. See the Aggies take the field at Aggie Stadium, hosting Idaho State on October 13th. The Aggies having a great year. Fun team to watch. Make sure to get your tickets for the season at ucdavisaggies.com. All KHTK giveaways are powered by RosevilleAutomall.com. Jump on the Keelan Doss hype train now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Really good wide receiver. And I think we might see him play on Sundays.
I want to see. I might have something breaking here.
We'll fix it.
But I need to spell it correctly.
I'm sorry, what?
Here we go.
Spell it correct?
Yeah, well, I want to triple check because I saw it.
Oh, I see, but you said, okay.
Yeah. Let's see. Yep, that's right. Here we go. Looks like Conor McGregor. This is coming over right now. The Nevada State Athletic Commission will deliver 10-day suspensions to Khabib Nurmagomedov and Conor McGregor as it begins its review. I'm trying to see. The reason why I'm pausing, guys, and this is dumb to do on the air, but because those types of suspensions are very, very – a 10-day suspension. These are very standard. A lot of times after fights, especially a fight that ends in a stoppage, sometimes even a submission, you'll get very minimal suspensions is what they'll call it. If somebody's knocked out, I forget off the top of my head what I think it might be 60 days, maybe 45 days at a minimum for a suspension. Here's the statement. The Nevada State Athletic Commission's primary function is to regulate unarmed combat within the state of Nevada. The events that occurred at the conclusion of the Nurmagomedov-McGregor contest are currently under investigation by the commission's executive director, Bob Bennett. Neither the commission nor its staff will comment on matters under investigation. That was their statement. But they are looking at all the angles. And it does look like McGregor is also going to receive a little bit of a complaint as well. They're looking at all the angles and reviewing all the tape. The commission withheld the $2 million guaranteed purse for Habib. McGregor's purse was not withheld. Because the purse has been withheld, one of them at least, the commission will move quickly with the complaints, promising them very soon as later today. But it does look like both will receive complaints. And it sounds like as well that the pay-per-view record for the UFC has been smashed. Dana White told TMZ that they didn't do $3 million, but he said we're way up above $2 million. He said we're trending between 2.6 and $3 million.
Jeez.
So that's very interesting. The top five, assuming this fight will be above $2 million, which seems to be a very safe assumption. Diaz-McGregor 2 was the old record holder at 1.65. McGregor-Diaz 1, third at 1.6. Tied with Lesnar-Mir back at UFC 100. Not to discredit Lesnar, who is a big part of that. UFC 100, though, some may remember, was a massive, massive night and a massive card because it being UFC 100. I believe that was a July fight. Alvarez McGregor, number 4 at 1.3. Aldo McGregor, number 5 at 1.2. So if you're wondering why.
Hey, this rematch is going to blow past $3 million.
It will. It will.
And they're going to use all of this stuff that made Dana White sick, air quotes here.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to use all of it in pre-fight promotion. All of it.
This is why Conor McGregor gets a pass from everybody.
Yeah.
When it comes to the states, when it comes to the UFC itself, this is why. Because he makes a lot of people a lot of money. Now, let me just, for the heck of it, Kyle, I'm going to do something on my computer, on my phone. All right, let's see. 2 million times, what was the fight? $80 for high def, I think, $79.95. Let's call it $70. Let's say $69.95, but I'm pretty sure it was $79. 72. So on pay-per-view, if it only got $2 million, that's $140 million. Now, keep in mind, McGregor was disclosed to get a $3 million payday. I believe Khabib a $2 million payday. You can double, if not triple, if not quadruple that. You because they're both getting percentages of the pay-per-view. But $140 million. Now think about that. 3 plus 2, that's $5 million. So that leaves $135 million. Now, let's take that $35 million and throw that to the fighters. And by the way, they're not going to make that much. That leaves $100 million. Add in, you ever notice during the UFC pay-per-views, every other thing is like, and then tonight's thing brought to you by, and here's a commercial for this movie. And there was some movie with Forrest Griffin and some other fighters doing a trailer for. The amount of money the UFC rakes in for fights like this, when you look at the advertising on the octagon mat, on the octagon itself, you look at the commercials they run during the pay-per-views, everything associated with it. Oh, by the way, I'm sorry. We haven't even talked about tickets sold. We haven't even gotten to the gate yet, where those ringside seats, some of them are going for $10,000 a pop.
Did you mention the merchandise they sell at
I haven't
the thing?
mentioned the merchandise.
$40 for a T-shirt?
Yeah, for a regular T-shirt.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking $90 to $100 for hoodies, $30 for hats. The amount of money raked in. Now, let's be fair. They spend a lot of money promoting it. But also remember, they get a lot of that as part of their contracts with whether it's ESPN or Fox or FS1. You know, when they're running their Ultimate Fighter, when they're running their regular fights for free during the week, they're running all kinds of ads. By the way, those pay-per-view numbers, last thing, how many of those pay-per-view numbers, how many of those pay-per-view buys are a sports bar that has 150 people in it that are selling tickets for $10 or $20 a pop? So the amount of money involved is insane. So when you look at what Conor McGregor means to this sport and the fact that we just named off, and he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because there's a tie in there, so really 5 of the top 7, 2 ties, pay-per-view events of all time in the UFC, yeah. That's called a golden goose, guys. And that's why McGregor gets away with what McGregor gets away with. We'll take a break. When we come back, what's on tap right here on the Sporty 1140 KHTK.
Sports 1140 KHTK. We do sports.
The three, it's partially blocked, and the hand on it with Giles. Leaking out, Giles breaks the grab, puts it on the glass, and scores. Nice lead pass. Kings take their first lead of the ball game.
Sports 1140 KHTK. Your home of the Kings.
Capital Casino is Sacramento's #1 poker room with limit, no limit hold'em, blackjack, pai-gow poker, baccarat. The list goes on and on. They also have 3-card poker, brand new, which is my favorite game. But they also have the best food, the best service to go with those phenomenal games. Capital Casino is at 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com. And hey, please, gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
With a Gold in One Platinum Rewards credit card, you get a low rate and up to 3% cash back on everyday purchases.
3%? Unlike groceries?
Like groceries.
And gas?
You got it.
Okay.
Because as a not-for-profit, Gold in One Credit Union members help each other, getting us all a better deal on just about everything.
All right then. Honey, we're going to dinner.
So apply today. Gold in One Credit Union. We're stronger together. Some restrictions apply. Visit golden1.com for details.
If you need a work truck, you need a dealer who works as hard as you, like Maida Chevy in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, a business elite dealer. Maida Chevy has the commercial vehicle you're looking for. Work-ready Silverados, express vans, commercial loaners, and so much more. All backed by Maida Chevy pros who know your vehicles are your livelihood. Whether you need one vehicle or an entire fleet, Maida Chevy's got you covered. Business elite at Maida Chevy, Sacramento's #1 Chevy dealer for over 10 years. Find new roads.
Sacramento retail sales. Made a great deal at Maida.
Hey, Sacramento, it's your boy DC here for Beck's Furniture and Sleep. It is that special time of year at Beck's. It's anniversary time, 51 years, and that is 5 decades of service, and the sales are tremendous. No interest, no money down, no minimum purchase. The deals are abundant. Bedroom sets, recliners, bar, pub sets, dining sets, not to mention the Beck's Dream Team and what they can do for you. I'm telling you, there is so much to mention at Beck's Furniture and Sleep that I'll go crazy trying to do it. Tell them DC sent you. Visit them today, Beck'sFurniture.com.
Beck's Furniture. We must all work together to be better prepared for wildfires. I'm Joe Segura, and I work in emergency communications at PG&E. As an additional precautionary safety step, PG&E is urging customers to sign up for alerts at pge.com/mywildfirealerts. We can alert you if we need to temporarily turn off the power because of extreme fire danger conditions. We know how important it is to have safe and reliable power in your home, so we will only turn off the power as a last resort. Please sign up today at pge.com/mywildfirealerts.
Sign out for life on Thursday, October 11th. Maida Subaru and the Sunburst Projects invite you to one of the most fun and community-engaging events. Dine Out for Life Sacramento, Thursday, October 11th. Some of Sacramento's best restaurants, bars, and breweries will donate a portion of their proceeds to Sunburst Projects, helping those affected by HIV and AIDS in our community. For more information and a list of participating restaurants, please go to diningoutforlife.com/Sacramento. Dine Out for Life on Thursday, October 11th.
You don't want to mess with the IRS. They have the power to garnish your paycheck, levy your bank accounts, and even take your home or business. That's all true. But thankfully, they're offering a way out. The Fresh Start Initiative. If you qualify, it could save you thousands. The experts at Optima Tax Relief will fight to get you the best possible tax settlement. And they have an A rating with the Better Business Bureau to prove it. Call Optima for your free consultation.
Call 800-929-0277. 800-929-0277.
Optima Tax Relief.
Pipe leaks, low water pressure? Repipe Specialists repipes your entire home in just 1 to 2 days, patches your walls, and provides a lifetime guarantee. Get 20% off today. Visit repipespecialists.com.
It's the end of the show, but it's the start of your workday. For a cold one, it's What's on Tap. Here's What's on Tap.
All right, we slow down a little bit today. No football, as we've got these 2 days without football, Tuesday, Wednesday. Also, a couple of those baseball series already done with the Brewers and Dodgers advancing. That leaves us Red Sox and Yankees, which really, let's be honest, I'm sorry, also the Astros advancing. Let's, come on. Isn't that really what everybody in the nation cares about? No other baseball team exists other than the Red Sox and the Yankees. Both won at least 100 games, 108 for the Red Sox. That game will be at Yankee Stadium today at 5:07. The Yankees clinging to this series, down 2-1. All right, we didn't cover this much really yesterday, but there's some Odell Beckham stuff. Some Odell Beckham stuff going on in New York. It was like this weird interview he did. And I'm just going to give you a couple of quotes, like this one asking about the quarterback position.
Do you have an issue at quarterback then?
I don't know. Like I said, I feel like he's not going to get out the pocket. He's not. We know Eli's not running. But is it a matter of time issue? Can he still throw it? Yeah, it's been pretty safe. It's been cool catching shallow and trying to take it to the house. But I wanna go over the top of somebody.
So that's him speaking on Eli Manning. He's not going to get out of the pocket. By the way, I want to remind you, all calls, all guests, come to be the Firewings hotline. 21 different flavors to choose from there. Firewings.com, just wing it. Odell Beckham doesn't want to be held back anymore.
Obviously, you want to get paid for your talents and what you've done, but if you have a window this big to maximize your full potential and something's holding you back from doing it, that's more frustrating to me than anything else. I just want to be able to be the very best that I can, and I don't feel like I'm given an opportunity to be the very best that I can, to bring that every single day, and that's really all I want to do is bring that every single day. I don't want to be held back anymore.
Well, what's holding you back?
I haven't been in the place where I feel like I can really go out and do everything that I'm capable of doing. I don't get 20 targets like some other receivers. It's just everything. And not to say that it's not going to work, but at the moment, I feel like I work entirely way too hard.
Finally, here he is on Help.
I want to win. I want to be great at what I do. I feel like I could score a touchdown in the first half, touchdown in the second half. Honestly, I feel like I could score every quarter if I'm given a chance, but it's not the case. So I said, oh my God, I need to get 2 touchdowns a game. 100 yards is a minimum. My goals are set very, very high. And if I don't get to help attribute to a team's win or do anything like that, I'm not going to be okay with it, money or no money. I'm just not going to be okay with that.
Part of me appreciates the fact that he's saying, okay, money or no money, even though he made a giant stink about no money. I have very lofty expectations.
Did he, though? And he went to all the practices, went to all the OTAs.
No, I'm saying he made it quite clear he wanted to get fine. But why not? I'm not going to be happy until this team's winning. That's just, and I want to pick on Odell Beckham Jr. because this is pretty much every wide receiver not named Larry Fitzgerald and a few others. The divas, whether it's Terrell Owens, whether it's Chad Johnson, whether it's Odell Beckham Jr. and 50 others, Randy Moss.
Jerry Rice got a goat tattoo on his arm.
I gotcha. There is something about wide receivers, maybe more than any other position in sports. Like relief pitchers in baseball are usually pretty crazy. Wide receivers in the NFL, that is,
sure.
They're just divas.
Yeah.
I want to do this. I want to do that. Here's my goals. Here's my expectation. Here's me.
What's so interesting about this, and Pro Football Talk, Mike Florio at Pro Football Talk wrote about this yesterday, but is how these kind of interviews get set up. Like ESPN either, they didn't set this up through the Giants.
Sure.
They didn't go, hey, Giants PR, we want to chat with Odell Beckham.
Right.
And we're going to ask him to we're going to lead these questions for him to rip the team.
Yeah, no chance.
So they went through Odell Beckham. They either reached out to him or he reached out to ESPN.
And what was this interview anyways? I saw that it was him and
Lil Wayne was there.
Why was Lil Wayne there?
I don't know.
And was Odell Beckham, was there a thing where he wasn't wearing pants?
I think his shorts were very short.
Like it looked like he wasn't wearing pants.
Yeah. I mean, same right now. You just can't see.
Of course.
I just the general consensus from what I heard, I only heard bits and pieces. And from what I saw was what he said wasn't particularly wrong, but it's not the kind of thing that you voice to ESPN on national TV without telling anybody what's going on.
I mean,
like,
on
if you
spec,
have a problem, go to the team.
On spec, I can take what you're saying as correct. Like, did he say anything that was factually incorrect? Probably not.
Right.
But, dude, where is your head, man?
Right.
Your team is losing. You're going on ESPN next to Lil Wayne talking about how your quarterback can't get out of the pocket, talking about how you want to do more and you need more, and you're being held back. Like you just got paid, man. You just got paid.
Like, how do you, if you're Odell Beckham and you know you're signing this extension with the New York Giants, how are you so dense that you took a step back, looked at the landscape of this team during your tenure and prior to your tenure, and you went, yeah, this is the team. If you truly want to win, if winning is your primary goal, there are other better teams who would have paid you the money they paid.
Sure.
And
maybe even, and what about this? What if you had to take a little bit of less money? Because the money, you just said it's not about the money.
Sure.
So go to the Rams. Go to the Patriots.
That's where
just looks stupid.
Right. There's been nothing the Giants have done over the last decade?
Yeah.
That's pointed to, oh, this is a competent organization that is going to put me in the best position to win.
Weird Giant fan, sensitive person is freaking out and texting. Eli sucks. He's the luckiest quarterback in the NFL. Is Odell Beckham Jr. being a diva by stating Eli sucks? LOL. Everybody knows it. Well, first off,
it's not what he said.
It's not what he said, and we don't even get into the whole Eli sucks thing. It's, as we've been trying to be clear, it is It's
a bad look, as we said.
And that's what I'd say to this guy. What is he gaining? What is the upside of him saying all of this publicly right now? 4 games into the season. What's the upside other than your own brand?
And this is a premeditated interview.
Right.
He probably got the questions beforehand.
Guaranteed he did.
This wasn't some post-game locker room rant where he was angry.
Studio sit down. Yeah. Everyone's wearing their stuff, looking great. This isn't you with your helmet just fresh off your head and sweaty. This is, and you're exactly right. I promise you, he got the questions in advance, and I would bet money.
Or, conspiracy theory, gave them the questions.
I was just going to say, and I wouldn't bet money, but I would bet money that he and or his agent fed questions.
Said, hey,
that's
I want to rip
works.
the Giants. Ask me this. And
that's how it works. I would like to be asked these questions. That happens all the time.
And it's not, like I said, it's not so much what he said, but why could he not go to Pat Shurmur, the head coach, with these complaints?
Right. Hey, not for nothing, but...
And maybe he has and they haven't done anything, so he felt he needed to go this step. I don't know.
Doesn't look good. Do I have this like fake memory in my head because I hit my head on a telephone pole or something that in the off season he was in a video and there was a mirror with what looked to be cocaine on it, all chopped up in lines in a hotel room? Did I dream that?
Was that Odell Beckham? I know that happened.
Yes, it was Odell Beckham.
But...
Yes, it was. Like, did I just dream that and then the Giants turn around, not only keep him but sign him to a giant deal?
Nah, he's just having a little fun.
It's just the lack of situational awareness, man. There is no doubt Odell Beckham Jr. should be in the conversation anyone wants to have for best receivers in the NFL right now.
He's phenomenally talented.
His numbers are stupid.
you put him on a healthy 49ers team, and the 49ers are a playoff team. Like, remember when I asked Matt Barrows if they need a bona fide number one receiver? Yeah. He is that guy.
And you know what? If you want Eli, first off, you want Eli out, that's a classless way to do it. By the way, Eli does have 2 Super Bowl rings, which everyone's going to say he's lucky. Okay, well, he has 2 Super Bowl rings.
Right.
He wasn't just sleeping during those Super Bowls.
Right.
I don't know. Some fans are so biased, dude, that they just completely throw out logic. There's no upside to him doing that. If I'm Pat Shurmur, I'd knock him out for a game.
Did you see what Pat Shurmur said? He was like, if you want to address it, go ask him. He's a big man.
Right, and then he also said something. Who was he talking about? Was it Saquon Barkley? He said he comes on the field with humility and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. He's humble, like total shade. Ugh. All right. Matt Barrows.
Tough look for our guy, Odell.
Yeah, a little bit. I wonder how Grant feels about that. I wonder if Grant has an opinion on Odell Beckham Jr. at all.
Grant's not one to have an opinion on.
All right, for Matt Barrows, Eunice does a phenomenal job on the video cast. Don't forget, not only can you watch the video cast live, you can now get all the archives on the KHTK YouTube channel. Subscribe and save. Doesn't cost anything, but sounds fun. Kyle Madson behind the glass. He's a guy, and I'm Carmichael Dave. We'll see you tomorrow with Scott Bear and more. Jim Rome is next, right here on the Sporty 1140 KHTK. Bye-bye now.